More work for Thunder Bay's Bombardier plant. Some help on the horizon for communities hit with impact adjustments. And a grim search begins at the site of Quebec's fire tragedy.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. Around 250 workers at Thunder Bay's Bombardier plant will have secure employment until the summer of 2017.
Today, the province announced an order for another 65 bi-level GO trains for the Greater Toronto area. The contract is worth more than $200 million and includes an option for 75 more vehicles in the future. Jonathan Wilson reports.
The next generation GO train cars come with a price tag of around $3.5 million apiece. MPPs Bill Morrow and Michael Gravel announced that Metrolinx is ordering another 65 of them to serve commuters in the GTA.
It's about demand in Southern Ontario, but our willingness to meet that demand. As I've mentioned, previous governments chose not to invest. It would have been left to the City of Toronto should our government have not been stepping up to the plate with these major financial investments to support the work to meet that demand. We're very proud of that.
We're really excited about it. It's great when Michael Gravel and Morrow come back into town and come to the plant because they always come with good news.
For the employees at the Bombardier plant, these announcements allow them to make plans for the future.
Nothing makes us feel better than to see the hundreds of people, if not well over 1,000 now, that work here at the Bombardier plant. We're going to continue to work hard to see that these jobs come your way.
Bombardier Transportation Vice President Aaron Rivers says the bi-levels produced here over the past 30 years are among the most popular passenger rail cars in the world. These new model bi-levels feature the same capacity, but with advanced crumple zones to protect passengers in case of collisions. And he says these products are in high demand.
This particular car is one that has been the benchmark platform for commuter transit around the world, actually. This is the flagship, if you will, from an innovative perspective. So with that being said, the new cars represent a retention of jobs, potentially in 2019.
Union officials say this contract will provide more than 1 year of additional work for the employees here at the plant. But they say some of this work will actually be outsourced to Mexico.
That's another issue. This is a new design car, and unfortunately they're building the frames for these cars now in Mexico, which we're not happy about. Some of the wiring harnesses are being done in Mexico. But we still have a very large portion of these cars being built here in Thunder Bay, and we're very proud to do that.
The Ontario government's Made in Canada content rules require that 25% of mass transportation contracts be produced in Canada. Rivers says although the skeletons for the GO trains will be produced in Mexico, he says the majority of the work on the cars will be done here in Thunder Bay. And although he can't give an exact figure, he says it's probably in the 70 to 80% range. Jonathan Wilson, TBT News.
The provincial government is set to announce nearly $60 million for communities affected by mill reassessments. Communities like Espanola and Dryden saw the value of their local mills reduced by 60 to 70%. Resolute Forest Products in Thunder Bay has also applied for similar reductions, but as Dennis Ward reports, Thunder Bay won't benefit from the financial assistance.
The provincial government is planning to help out communities hard hit by pulp and paper mill reassessments. $59 million in one-time financial assistance will be provided to a small number of northern rural municipalities. Places like Dryden, where the assessed value of the Domtar mill dropped by more than 70%. Mayor Craig Nuttall wouldn't confirm the amount of assistance Dryden will receive, but says it's substantial. While Thunder Bay was involved in the push for the financial support, it won't be seeing any provincial help.
We picked up the fight with the smaller communities, and maybe we're paying a penalty for that. But we're all in this game together.
We fought hard. We said, listen, this is the same issue that we're dealing with. So I think the reality of it is our size, our diverse tax base, was really the thing that the province looked at and said, whereas these other communities are really hard hit, Thunder Bay, you should be able to manage. And that was the argument.
Resolute Forest Products is hoping to get the local pulp and paper mills' assessed value dropped from $74 million to $34 million. An assessment review board hearing between the city and Resolute was scheduled to begin on Monday, but the company has asked for a 4-month adjournment. The eventual ruling could cost the city millions. In December, Dryden raised its large industrial tax rate by 15%, a move that essentially only impacted the Domtar mill. Thunder Bay Mayor Keith Hobbs says he won't rule out a similar move depending on the outcome of the ARB appeal.
We have the ability to deal with tax ratios, and that's definitely on the radar. We'll see how this goes, and we may have to go there. And I don't have a problem with that. I think everyone should pay their fair share. All segments of society should pay their fair share.
Dennis Ward, TBT News.
Fire officials in Thunder Bay and across Canada have growing concerns about fire safety in retirement homes following the tragic blaze in a Quebec senior's home this week. Many factors are being considered in that fire, which killed 5 people and left another 30 missing. Part of the concern comes from the absence of sprinklers in the older wing of the home. Here in Thunder Bay, Fire Chief John Hay says part of the fire code dictates that these facilities have an evacuation plan, which is tested annually. The fire plans are overseen by the fire department, and all the facilities are inspected to make sure they meet the most up-to-date regulations.
Well, sprinklers are a great tool for lengthening that time from being alerted by a fire alarm or a smoke detector to getting out. So we've had fires, small fires. We haven't had anything tragic here, and part of that is because our prevention staff are very cognizant of the hazard and the risk associated with seniors housing.
Hay says the physical and mental ability of the residents plays a huge factor in the fire plans, and that's why part of the testing in Thunder Bay involves evacuating the building with the lowest staff numbers as possible.
A string of break-and-enters has prompted Thunder Bay Police to release some new surveillance video. The images show a suspect robbing the Westfort Foods at the corner of Frederica and Edward on January 18th at around 4 o'clock in the morning. The suspect is described as a Caucasian male, medium build, wearing a Carhartt-style jacket with a hood, jeans, and white shoes. He has a light-colored toque with a pom-pom and a light-colored neck warmer or face mask. Similar descriptors have been linked to a residential break-in on January 20th in the 300 block of South Franklin Street.
Pictures that we have from the various videos from the other locations which have had break-and-enters do seem similar to this male, and as such we are believing that they are connected. The charges would be break-and-enter and theft with regards to all of these various incidents.
Tilbury is asking anyone with information to contact Thunder Bay Police.
A 2-vehicle collision closed a section of Balmoral Street across from Chapel's golf course this morning. The accident happened just after 10 o'clock. Thunder Bay police officers on the scene say a minivan was turning left off of Herald Crescent when it collided with a northbound SUV. Emergency crews had to help a woman who was trapped inside her vehicle. She was taken to hospital for treatment of minor injuries. The investigation continues.
A new partnership has been formed between some key healthcare educators in northwestern Ontario. It involves the simulation labs inside the Reach building at Confederation College. The parties are looking to pool their resources, increase their training capacity, and create better student access to simulation mannequins. Mike Albanese reports.
This is Hal. Hal is a special simulation mannequin that teaches up-and-coming healthcare students the ins and outs of patient care. With a new partnership between Confederation College, Lakehead University, the Northern Ontario School of Medicine, the Thunder Bay Regional Health Sciences Centre, St. Joseph's Care Group, and Superior North EMS, Hal and his companions will not only be teaching Confederation students, but they will keep current professional skills sharp as well.
It just moves it to a whole different level. I mean, we can talk about people working together, but until they're actually in the same room together, practicing, learning together, it just changes the whole level of understanding they have of each other and each other's roles. And if you had seen the simulators as well, they breathe, they respond to questions that are being asked of them. You can give them drugs, they respond to those drugs, and in fact they may recover or they may pass away as well, and that's a pretty profound experience for a student to see.
Learning alongside someone who you normally wouldn't train with is exactly the design of the new partnership. The Northwest Centre of Excellence in Health Simulation is the new formal title of the partnership, and with all of these healthcare professionals pooling resources and training under one roof, this means the best of the best for equipment can be afforded and maintained.
The training with the simulation is so realistic that makes it very beneficial, and we're all about providing the best in client care, and this is just another example of progress and technology that's going to help to make it better for the people that we're here to serve.
One of the biggest improvements which hands-on simulation training can provide is the fact that you aren't learning or making mistakes on a real human being. This is a luxury many didn't have back in the day.
When I started to do angiograms on patients a long time ago, there was no simulation like this. You had to be taught what to do, and then you had to practice on a live patient. And, we were very carefully supervised, but it would have been, in retrospect, in my career, it would have been a lot better if I could have done perhaps 100 simulated angiograms before I had to do a real one on a patient.
Mike Albanese, TBT News.
Well, Lakehead University is helping its education students find jobs. Today's LU Education Fair brought in school boards from across Canada and around the world. The employers were here to meet personally with the upcoming Faculty of Education graduates. Rochelle El-Soufi has the story.
Finding a teaching opportunity in Thunder Bay, let alone Ontario, is a huge challenge for many Faculty of Education graduates. Now students are forced to expand their horizons in search for jobs across Canada and internationally. Student Brittany Kennedy says she's willing to relocate to find a full-time job in her field.
I'm willing to go anywhere. I'm really interested in the First Nations school boards and Northern Ontario, Northern Canada even, Northern Alberta, really doesn't matter.
Teresa Soha, the chair of undergraduate studies with the Faculty of Education, explains the success stories of some graduates who choose to apply for teaching jobs nationally and internationally.
In terms of opportunities, it's pretty much a global market right now. We've got, for instance, last year we've had 11 students who were hired in China. We had 3 students hired in northern Saskatchewan, so the jobs are there, not as much locally.
The education fair includes school board representatives from across Ontario, Manitoba, Alberta, BC, and First Nations, as well as representatives from the UK, China, and Korea. This was a great opportunity for students to meet prospective employees outside of Ontario. Christina Buzzy, Career and Employment Specialist at the Lakehead University, spoke about the importance of getting graduates to broaden their horizons when finding a teaching job.
It's very important. It can be life-changing because it's an opportunity for students to gain that experience in their field, and that way they're growing professionally, and perhaps in the future, when just some jobs open up in Ontario, they'll be ready to go.
Brittany Kennedy chatted with a few representatives and already had a few prospects for her future.
I've been meeting a lot of the school boards with First Nations, so that's been really great. I got a job interview for Fort William, which is Northern Alberta, which is really great as well.
Rochelle El-Soufi, TBT News.
A course on culinary tourism drew in quite the crowd at Confederation College today. Experts from the Ontario Culinary Tourism Alliance were teaching locals how to bring in more visitors by using fine dining as an attraction. Among the 70 participants at the event were local vegetable producers, cattle farmers, hotel owners, and restaurateurs. They were given a lot of ideas on how to create a more appealing restaurant and make the food they create stand out. A main selling point of the event was that it opened up a lot of networking options and started the conversation about how important the local food movement has been in larger tourism industries. Another discussion was which authentic tastes Thunder Bay has to offer.
There's so many wonderful things to experience. There's all of your natural resources, some interesting products coming from the boreal forest, birch syrup as an example. So lots of great tastes to be explored and celebrated.
Local officials say our city is well on its way to building a diverse array of culinary styles to attract a different brand of